Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Charlie Neff here.
Courtney here.
And Jason.
So, it's interesting that Hollywood is not aligned with half the country a lot. That half the country embraces what they say at award shows, and the other half doesn't. I think it was different last night at the SAG Awards. I think this time Hollywood connected with our entire country, or at least most of it, because they really came out in support of Ukraine, condemned Russia, applauded Zelenskyy. And I just found it really unusually moving. And when I say unusually, I just think because, it didn't feel like agenda politics this time. It really felt just there's a humanitarian side of this that goes so far beyond any political issue.
Yep. It is the first, I heard it said over the weekend, it is the first issue that we've all agreed upon since in the immediate aftermath of 9/11.
It's true.
And it has brought us together in a way that you're right, that actors in Hollywood, left-leaning liberal actors in Hollywood, are now speaking a truth that all Americans believe in.
And there's no shade on whether you're left or right or anything else, but it's that the statements they make, there's no half of the country this time saying, oh, they're full of crap. This is Brian Cox from Succession. They won, by the way, for Best Ensemble, but this was Brian Cox accepting the award.
The thing that's really distressed me is what's happening in Russia to my fellow actors and actresses and performers and writers and critics. They are told under pain of high treason that they cannot say a word about Ukraine. And I think that is pretty awful. And I think we should all stand together. And also for those people, the people in Russia who don't like what's going on, and particularly the artists. And I think we should really join in celebrating them and hoping that they can actually make a shift, as I believe they can.
Really powerful. And, when I first heard him say that, and he said, especially the actors, I thought, why especially the actors? And then I thought, you know what? They're in their own lane right there. And it's true. The actors have a lot of influence there, particularly because of Zelenskyy.
Right. The most powerful, the most outspoken, the most famous person to emerge from this entire conflict, President Zelenskyy of the Ukraine, is a former comic and entertainer himself.
Who played the president.
Yeah. And he was on Dancing with the Stars.
And he was on Dancing.
No way.
Yeah, back in 2006.
That is
Didn't he win?
hysterical.
I think Kim Kardashian won that season.
But
he's come out amazing. Everyone loves him.
Everyone's calling him a hero.
Him. Yeah.
He is just one of the most inspirational people. It reminds me of Lech Walesa in a way, but even bigger, because this is in the middle of a war. And when he said, I don't need a ride, I need ammunition.
Oh,
Right.
It was so
great line.
It was an amazing line.
I mean,
And he said it to Biden, like one of the United States, like to say that like back to like America. I feel like that was also just so much more like of a powerful statement. It wasn't just like, I don't know, to say it to Biden and like the U.S., it was so impactful, and you're cheering for him. He stayed there, and we saw like the president of Afghanistan. He just like fled. So to see like a president like stay and like rise up is amazing. And he did have this like comic background. I don't know, it's very attractive.
And
he's married.
Oh, God. Not the direction I thought we were going, but yes, he's quite handsome.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people used the SAG Awards as a platform to speak out about Ukraine. Lady Gaga was one of them, and she said, there's so much going on in the world, and my heart goes out to Ukraine. I think tonight we should all really sit in the gratitude of this.
I want to get back to Zelenskyy. I think that in a world of political calculus where everybody is cautious, they think about what they're saying to the point where it doesn't feel authentic anymore, that they couch things out of fear. There is none of that with him. And I'm not, what's really interesting is that you look at Donald Trump getting elected, and he's such a divisive person. And, he came from not a dissimilar background. And yet here you've got this guy who is so authentic, who is completely united, not only his country, but the world.
Yep.
I mean, a comic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is breathtaking to see what he's done.
And there was even rumors that he had fled the country, but then he posted a video right there in with all these like bombings around him, saying like, nope, I'm here. I'm sticking with the country. Like, don't ever say that I'm not here. I am.
What's interesting is that there's no shame in a leader leaving his country if it's about to fall, because you want a potential leader in exile who, when there's
Who
a
can
power
come back.
vacuum,
Right.
can come back.
And by the way,
yes,
that could happen.
and that could happen, and it could, and maybe it's better than dying on the cross.
Or maybe they actually
But-
resist the Russians, because there's evidence of that
But
right now.
he is rolling dice, whatever the cliche is, whatever the metaphor is, to say, I'm going to be here and I'm going to die with my country if that's what it takes.
Well, he said
Right.
that. He
Well,
said
yes.
he
He's
told
defense-
he told some world leaders, this may be the last time you ever see me alive.
It was really
Ugh,
powerful. Just to know that your life is in jeopardy like that and stand tall it's incredible. It's incredible.
He's become
Yeah.
kind of a combination of Churchill and Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the immigrant possibility of being president of the United States next term? I'm just saying is
Yeah. No, but I mean, if there were a guy like
He's
him
amazing.
here,
yeah.
but the circumstances are just so different.
We tear our politicians down.
Yeah,
so
no.
much.
The circumstances are so different. But just the idea
Yeah.
that he has unified a country. Well, I mean, look, the country was unified. They hate Russia
Yeah.
for what they've done.
Yeah.
But the idea that he has become kind of the galvanizing force of this, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
And kind of to your point, Harvey, like the most recent conflict that really divided people was the Palestine-Israel conflict. And a lot of people couldn't really come to agree on that. But then here with Ukraine, like it's just dominating on social media, just seeing all the videos, like you really feel for the people. Like you even see like photos now of like the animals, like all the everyone fleeing or like trying to take their dogs with them, their cats. I mean, it just looks so sad, and it really like hits at home because it makes you think, wow, this could be us, but we're so lucky. it's
We're
not.
going to move on, but I got to say, we put polls up on the weekend. And one of the polls, look, they're unscientific polls, but shockingly, a lot of our results align with real polls.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And we did a poll saying Ukrainian conflict, I care, and then the options were deeply and somewhat. Something like 72% of the people said deeply.
Yeah.
Aw.
I found that really interesting.
That number probably dwarfs like how do you care about the U.S. economy? It probably
Right.
it would be less than the 72% that care about
1,000%.
Ukraine. Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about Elon Musk for a minute because, this kind of dovetails into the same thing, but I am kind of tired of all of these people who are just slamming Elon Musk for, look, Elon Musk has views that are out there. He also is probably doing more to save the
Genius.
world than anybody in the world,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. And, now Elon Musk is talking about maybe SpaceX can prevent the International Space Station from careening into Earth, which is something they're worried about with Russia, that Russia's kind of insinuated that maybe they will, because they control the engines on the space station, that they could actually turn it so that
So
it
crazy.
crashes into either Europe or the United States. Elon Musk said, we're going to save it. It's like an adventure movie. I mean, Musk and Zelenskyy and all that. But he's saying that SpaceX, and don't
How's he
doubt.
gonna save it? Do they like hack into it to like control the engines?
Oh, we're gonna have to wait and see the episode 2 of the Elon Musk show for that.
But-
But like,
Yeah.
I'm
Did
curious
any
to,
of
like,
you
how that's
guys-
so awesome.
I think this is, I just think Elon Musk,
He's remarkable.
he is a remarkable guy. And just the idea that people are kind of slamming him on
Yeah.
social media, I'm kind of sick of it. I mean, who else is doing things that will really change the world for the better?
I mean, the brain chip, though, in your head isn't really like life changing.
Really?
Wait, that's one of the most life changing
It's
things
the most
ever.
life-changing.
Wait,
It is
I mean-
the
Charlie,
single-
that is a hot
it is-
take
Charlie,
it
right
is
there.
it's one of
the
the
single
most-
most life-changing
the-
thing.
I will say
To
I'm
give-
biased. I am extremely against animal testing, and the fact that he killed all those monkeys like absolutely makes me sick.
But
to my
what
stomach.
he can do,
Do you know
for
what
the
he's doing?
human race, yes, and to give people the ability to like walk again and to help, like it's unreal.
Epilepsy.
Yes, like what this,
Parkinson's.
my mom's in healthcare and she was amazed by this. She's like in awe. Like this is a game changer if he can like get it to work.
I just
He's
think
not
it's
loved
amazing.
by everybody. Maybe on this table with you guys, but there's a lot of people.
No, I
that
know.
don't
But and then
like him.
Tesla, what he does, he
Well,
does everything
hold
on different.
There's plenty to criticize Elon Musk about. No question about
There's
it. The
plenty
animal
to
testing-
criticize everybody
There are.
about.
But Elon Musk, look, he leads with his channel on a lot of stuff. There's criticism. But Nobody dreams as big, right? He hears about a problem with the International Space Station potentially being weaponized, and he says, I can solve that problem. He hears about a problem of, internal combustion engines causing pollution. He says, I can solve that. Now, he's not always successful, right? His plan for self-driving cars is a decade behind, and it's a decade away. But he always dreams big, and there's real inspiration there. That's not to forgive him his sins.
You
We
guys
don't have to.
What sins?
Oh, well, he's been sued many times for labor practices.
I get it.
The Hitler tweet.
I get it.
You guys didn't feel this whole narrative was very Look Up, that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Don't Look Up. Yeah,
Don't Look Up. I mean,
No, I
it
haven't
was
watched
literally
it.
that. You have this billionaire that's in the billionaire space race that's trying to save the world, and it just felt
But he
very
may.
much
But
like
someone
a
made
parody.
these too.
He may. And the other thing is, it's like we should be embracing people who think that. How many people think that big? That are on the public stage?
One that we can think of.
One that we can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, look, you know who else was a flawed person like everybody? Albert Einstein. He was a flawed person.
Just because he married his cousin.
I know, I was gonna say
doesn't
that.
mean it
He had all sorts
And it
of
was
Albert Einstein.
even the fir- it was the first, right?
I've read a bunch of his
Cool.
a bunch of books, like the Isaacson book on
Yeah.
it's fantastic. But he was a flawed person. We should be embracing people, I think, like Elon Musk, who, because you know what? There may be something in a year or 5 years or 10 years that we can't solve. He will jump into that.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that is, but he thinks that way. And I just think that he is a resource that, unlike what we have in the country beyond him. I just think he is a unique,
He is.
incredibly important person.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of sick of I get it.
But
I
it's
get
okay
it that
to
he's-
criticize people
it's
even
fine
though
to
they're
criticize.
great. We can criticize George Washington for having slaves,
Yeah.
even though he accomplished a lot. Those things could both exist simultaneously.
I understand
okay.
that.
Yeah, I know you do. But I'm just saying.
But there are a lot
We
of
can
people,
praise-
they view it as good and evil.
Yes, and this goes back to your point about nobody's good or evil. They all have both of them.
Everybody.
And his good is great.
Okay, let's talk about Kim Kardashian's private jet.
Oh,
boy.
my God. This was something else. Yeah, we learned that she has a new private jet. She just got it, and it matches her house. It's all cream. And what?
Well, wait a minute.
It
I thought it was the
Coincidence,
Rolls Royce
or-
Yeah,
brand.
No, it's not a coincidence.
No,
She built it.
She built
Yeah, I
it.
thought it
It
was
was
Ghost
custom
Grid.
made. No, she has all
No,
her
she built
stuff
it from it's got
ground up.
it's got cashmere walls.
Yep.
I mean,
You guys
Dude,
are forgetting the
it's
price tag.
90
$95 million to
No,
have
no,
the same.
I thought it was
nope.
The base was
It's-
70, and then wasn't it close to 150?
The base wasn't 70. Apparently, we thought it was 70. It turns out the base was 95. What do you mean the base is 95?
It's
Why
a
are you
jet.
paying extras for a $95 million private
the
jet?
original-
You want the cashmere
Yeah.
seats and
Oh
walls? What
my
are you
God.
talking
The
about?
walls were originally
Three-
merino.
Yeah.
The walls
And
were
what if
originally
it wasn't
merino
the
wool,
color
and they
she
had the
liked?
I would go in with 3 checks to the different places.
She is a billionaire. It makes sense for her. She's flying everywhere. Now she's dating Pete in New York. They're flying
Lucky
back and
Pete.
forth. I know.
What do you think? What do you think didn't come before the upgrade?
Power windows.
Power
Yeah.
windows.
Oh,
What you
God.
think it was cloth seats before that?
No, no, it's so hysterical. So now
It's
she's flying
stunning.
she's flying in the same jet that the type of jet that Jeff Bezos has.
Right.
No.
So she's in Bezos
Is it bigger than
territory.
Kylie's?
Oh yeah, it's 18 seats.
Oh my God.
It's
Oh, do you think
That's
she'd get it small inside?
Yeah.
Do you seriously?
No.
Some guy with a 20-seat jet out there is like,
Right.
Kylie, I've got something
Yeah.
for
But
you.
it was so obnoxious because Kim just got back from Milan and she posted on her Instagram, surprisingly not jet legs, looking all hot.
Oh
It's
my
'cause you've been flying in a private
God.
jet. Sorry, you're not in economy.
You know what? I like it when rich people own the rich and don't just pretend they're not.
It is
Yeah, I
Like
interesting.
Harvey?
No, it's interesting because there are people who are criticized for doing that,
Yeah.
and then there are people who are not. She's not.
Right.
Mhm.
She's really made it.
Because her whole life has been. That's her
Yeah.
brand. Yeah.
But it is
It's a
kind of
pretty
interesting that there's no criticism of that. And even like with Leo DiCaprio flying in private jets, but he's also a big environmentalist, and people have
Mhm.
gotten into it.
Right.
You just don't hear any of that with her.
Right. She's like, give me my fur coats and my
Yeah.
cashmere lined private jets.
Okay, I want to move on to the last thing, which I just cannot believe he's doing this. Kanye West is throwing up what I will call ridiculous objections to what Kim is going to do this week, which is to become a single woman again.
Mhm.
And, look,
On Wednesday, right?
on Wednesday, Kanye does not want this divorce, and I get it. And, look, he's been fighting to keep her in public for a long time now, and it hasn't worked. But now the objections that his lawyers are throwing up to this in court are absurd. That, over the weekend, we broke this story that Kanye's lawyers filed documents saying that Kim should not be able to bring in the social media posts that Kanye has mentioned, because remember, she said they're emotionally hurting the family
Distress, yeah.
because it's double hearsay.
Right.
Right.
What is he saying? That the lawyer never says it's not Kanye. It's double hearsay.
Right.
But also,
Come
like,
on.
just that she can't prove he wrote the post, right?
But remember, he did a post that said, "I didn't get hacked." And,
Right.
like, he was holding the paper. So it's like he clearly did it.
What is he
The
trying to
response, if they ever
say?
got the lawyers or Kanye into court, is, well, did he write the posts? And at some point, you can only claim hearsay for so long. You've got to submit something that says, I didn't write the post, which you can't do because we all know Kanye wrote the post. They were completely on brand for Kanye. It's just
what's the lawyer trying to do here?
Stall,
Buy
delay,
time.
buy time.
Will it work? Will he not go to
No,
court
on
on
Wednesday
No?
we're gonna have a.
Then why? Then why if it's not even going to work?
Well, they want to make it hard. They want to make it, and I've seen this.
That's going to get her back.
Well,
Right.
right, but I think and I will say, I don't know how much these lawyers have consulted Kanye, because my recon is he wants nothing to do with this
The
divorce
divorce.
and isn't communicating with the lawyers. So it feels like the lawyers are just kind of taking his general view, which is, don't make me divorced. And the other thing he's saying is there's a presumption that prenups after 2002 are invalid.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's saying this prenup is invalid.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he's never challenged the prenup. He's raising these technical objections that carry no weight because they've never said he didn't write the post. They've never said the prenup is invalid, but they're trying to raise every technical objection so that Kim doesn't get divorced.
That he's going to freeze the accounts and all the assets.
It's just so petty to be like, oh, you can't prove that I didn't write those posts. It's like, oh my gosh, we all know.
You
don't have to be a rocket
screenshotted our
science
conversation
scientist.
on like the cell phone and like reposted it. Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
When the dust settles, he has to be a co-parent to all these kids and get along with her. They're not communicating. I mean, it is, behind the scenes, this is a mess.
And at what point does he begin to jeopardize his relationship with his kids, both from a interpersonal standpoint as well as from a potentially a legal standpoint, depending on how far it goes? I mean, hopefully, we're hoping on Wednesday the sort of weird, almost compulsive behavior kind of dissipates.
That's not going to happen.
But if it gets worse and worse, if he starts doing that, we see this in non-celebrity contexts all the time where, jilted spouses become obsessed with their exes. And I hate to predict anything that awful, but he really seems to be going down that road, right? Where you just can't let it go, can't naturalize or normalize the relationship.
And you do
I worry about it.
you do think that the kids are kind of being affected because we saw him get denied at Chicago's birthday, and there was
he made all those videos. So how can he deny
But yet when
those
he's
posts?
with the kids, they get along. They love him.
Of course.
Yeah, at the Super Bowl, they all looked like super happy. Like
they
North.
love him.
when those kids get old enough to go on the internet, presumably, probably soon, because North is on TikTok,
Yeah.
they're going to read all these stories about how daddy, claims he was denied from Chicago's birthday, and they're going to see all this, and that is going to affect them.
So Wednesday the divorce happens. How long until we see publicly Pete with the kids?
Ooh.
I don't think
She
so.
might have to tread lightly
No,
on that one.
I'll tell you why I don't think that's going to happen. They are deferring custody and property for a later date.
So she'd have to wait it out until that happens.
And the other thing is, look, I don't know that Kim feels like I don't think this is I'm going to get back at Kanye by introducing Pete to the kids.
No.
That it is very common that you don't introduce a boyfriend or girlfriend
Very
to the
common.
kids after there's a divorce because it may not work out, and then all of a sudden the kids get attached, and then somebody else leaves, and it becomes a really problematic thing.
If this relationship goes 6 months or so, it'd be odd for her not to
Not
at that
to-
point.
6 months is what a lot of lawyers
Yeah.
put in these settlement, these child custody agreements, that once the relationship lasts at least 6 months, you can start introducing them for that very reason.
Right.
6 months seems to be not
We need to
always.
start doing the math. How long has it
So
been?
May,
Then what?
because I would say like what, end of October?
Yeah, remember they
Because
were
she
like
did
went
it-
to the Universal
Knott's
Studios.
Berry Farms together.
Oh, was
with
it Knott's?
Yeah, it was Knott's. And she did SNL October 2nd.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just
Oh, it's
Well
coming
done.
up.
Thank you.
Courtney and I trying to do math
I
over
know.
here.
That's the only math I can do.
I guess the question is it them's fighting words for Kanye if that happens?
Oh,
Is it worth it to her?
Oh
Is it
my
worth it to
Like,
her?
I don't think it is.
I don't
She-
think so either.
No.
well, you know what
Well,
I mean,
least,
at a
like, not, like,
point,
in public, yeah.
it may be. At a point, it may be.
Yeah.
I just don't know where that she's at that point.
No.
Right.
I think she just like wants to get out of it and relax and enjoy.
Okay, everybody. We are going to get the day started. Have a great day, Monday, and we will see you Wednesday.
Monday.